Harley-Davidson just dropped its 2025 lineup, and the motorcycle world is reacting with worse backlash than ever before. From touring bikes priced like condos to cruisers suffering full-blown identity crises, these 10 new releases have sparked a wildfire of rage. And number 1, even die-hard Harley fans are abandoning the brand after that one. We're starting our countdown at number 10 with Pan America 1250 ST. It is basically Harley's attempt at building an adventure bike that looks like it escaped from a BMW dealership after a particularly bad night of questionable decisions and too much German beer. This thing costs more than most people's cars, their college education, and possibly their firstborn child, while delivering all the off-road capability of a shopping cart with delusions of grandeur and the aerodynamic properties of a refrigerator that's been dropped from a great height. You'll spend more time explaining why your Harley looks like a German engineering experiment gone horribly wrong than actually riding it. And every real adventure rider will look at you like you've committed a crime against motorcycling that should be punishable by having to ride a Vespa for the rest of your natural life. The Pan America weighs more than a small elephant that's been fed nothing but concrete for several years and handles about as gracefully as a drunk rhinoceros trying to perform ballet in a china shop during an earthquake. It's perfect for someone who wants to pay premium prices for the privilege of looking confused at gas stations while people ask if you're lost on your way to a BMW dealership, or possibly if you've suffered some kind of head injury that affects your ability to make rational purchasing decisions. The bike promises adventure touring capabilities, but delivers the kind of adventure that involves calling roadside assistance and explaining to your insurance company why your motorcycle is also a very expensive paperweight that occasionally makes engine noises. The suspension feels like it was calibrated by someone whose only experience with motorcycles came from watching them in movies while blindfolded. And the electronics are more temperamental than a reality TV star having a public meltdown on social media. You'll discover that adventure touring means adventuring to the nearest Harley dealership to explain why your expensive toy doesn't work properly, while the service department looks at you with the kind of pity usually reserved for people who've made spectacularly poor life choices and then doubled down on them. Harley fans waited years for new bikes, and the Pan America proves why that wait ended in disaster. But number 9? It turns their nostalgic tribute into the most hated release in Harley's history. The Heritage Classic, which sounds traditional and nostalgic until you realize Harley has managed to take everything that made the original Heritage special and replace it with modern disappointment wrapped in nostalgic packaging that costs more than your parents' first house. This bike promises classic styling, but delivers contemporary mediocrity with a price tag that would make your accountant file for bankruptcy on your behalf and possibly seek witness protection from your financial decisions. You're paying extra for the privilege of owning something that looks like it should be authentic, but feels like a tribute band performing your favorite songs badly, while charging premium prices for the experience of disappointment. The Heritage Classic is perfect for riders who want to pretend they're buying into motorcycle history while actually purchasing a very expensive reminder that some things are better left in the past, like bell-bottom jeans, disco music, and the idea that Harley-Davidson still understands what their customers actually want from a motorcycle company. The bike combines the worst aspects of modern manufacturing with nostalgic styling that makes you feel like you're riding a museum piece that's been assembled by people who've never seen the original and were working from descriptions provided by someone having a stroke. You'll spend more time polishing chrome that doesn't actually improve the riding experience than enjoying the road, while the bike's modern electronics argue with its traditional styling about whether it wants to be a classic cruiser or a contemporary disappointment. The Heritage Classic represents everything wrong with modern motorcycle manufacturing: the triumph of marketing over engineering, style over substance, and profit margins over customer satisfaction, making every ride a reminder that nostalgia is a powerful drug that can make you make terrible financial decisions. Everyone thought the new Heritage Classic would redeem Harley, but the backlash is brutal. And number 8 proves these new releases aren't saving the brand. They're destroying everything Harley once stood for. The Street Bob pretends to be a minimalist cruiser, but somehow manages to complicate simplicity in ways that would impress a government bureaucrat trying to explain tax law to a kindergarten class. This bike takes the basic concept of a stripped-down motorcycle and adds just enough modern nonsense to make you question whether Harley's designers have ever actually seen a motorcycle before, or if they've only heard them described by someone who was having a seizure while looking at a blurry photograph. You'll pay premium prices for the privilege of owning something that looks simple but requires a computer science degree to operate properly, and possibly a PhD in electrical engineering to understand why it doesn't work. Street Bob is ideal for riders who think traditional motorcycles are too straightforward and enjoy the challenge of explaining to their friends why their minimalist bike has more electronic systems than the International Space Station, more complexity than a Swiss watch factory, and more problems than a reality TV show about dysfunctional families. Every ride feels like you're piloting a very expensive science experiment that occasionally remembers it's supposed to be fun, but usually forgets and decides to strand you somewhere inconvenient while making mysterious noises that sound like a robot having an existential crisis. The bike's minimalist design philosophy apparently extends to things like reliability, comfort, and basic functionality, creating a riding experience that makes you appreciate the simple pleasure of walking or taking public transportation. You'll discover that stripping away unnecessary features also means stripping away things like adequate suspension, comfortable seating, and the ability to start reliably, making every ride an adventure in mechanical uncertainty that would make gambling seem like a safe investment strategy. The Street Bob was supposed to bring Harley back to its roots, but they buried it in junk no one asked for. And if you think that's bad, number 7 will make you want to torch your saddlebag and switch brands on the spot. The Lowrider ST is Harley's answer to a question absolutely nobody was asking, like creating a solution to a problem that doesn't exist while ignoring all the actual problems that do exist. This sport touring variant combines the worst aspects of both categories, creating a motorcycle that's too uncomfortable for touring and too heavy for sport riding, like a Swiss Army knife designed by someone who'd never seen either Switzerland or an army, and was working from instructions written in a language they didn't understand. You'll spend more time adjusting settings and trying to find a comfortable riding position than actually enjoying the road, while the bike argues with physics about whether it wants to be a cruiser or a sport bike. The Lowrider ST is perfect for riders who think regular motorcycles make too much sense and enjoy the challenge of owning something that can't decide what it wants to be when it grows up, assuming it ever figures out its identity crisis or stops having mechanical breakdowns that require professional intervention. The bike promises sport touring capabilities, but delivers the kind of touring that involves frequent stops at motorcycle shops and the kind of sport that makes you feel like you're competing in the Olympics of poor decision-making. The riding position seems designed for someone with the proportions of a praying mantis that's been stretched on a medieval torture device, and the suspension has all the sophistication of a pogo stick designed by someone who'd never seen one before and was working from a description given by a drunk person. You'll discover that sport touring means sporting a backache and touring the inside of motorcycle repair shops, while the bike's electronics provide all the reliability of a weather forecast and the user-friendliness of a tax audit conducted by someone who speaks only ancient Latin. Harley thought the Lowrider ST would win everyone back, but it backfired hard. Riders hate it across the board. And number 6 proves these new bikes aren't just disappointing, they're driving every type of Harley fan straight out the door. Breakout looks like it was designed by someone who thought drag racing aesthetics should be combined with the comfort level of a medieval torture device and the reliability of a politician's campaign promises. This bike promises aggressive styling, but delivers a riding experience that makes sitting on a park bench seem luxurious and ergonomically advanced. like comparing a 5-star hotel to sleeping on a bed of nails while being attacked by angry bees. You'll pay supercar prices for the privilege of looking cool while your spine slowly disintegrates and your bank account empties faster than a bathtub with no drain plug. Every ride becomes an endurance test that would make Navy SEALs weep with sympathy and possibly offer you their condolences for making such a spectacularly poor purchasing decision. The Breakout is ideal for masochists who think comfort is for weaklings and enjoy explaining to their chiropractor why they chose style over the ability to walk normally or sit down without making sounds like a haunted house during Halloween. The bike's drag-inspired styling apparently extends to its ability to drag down your quality of life, your financial stability, and your faith in motorcycle manufacturers. The suspension feels like it was designed by someone whose only experience with comfort came from sleeping on concrete floors, and the seating position seems optimized for people who enjoy the sensation of being slowly tortured by their own transportation choices. You'll discover that aggressive styling comes with aggressively uncomfortable consequences, making every ride a reminder that sometimes looking cool isn't worth the price of admission to the orthopedic surgeon's office. If you thought Harley's comeback would fix everything, number 5 will crush that hope fast. It's the moment loyal fans realize they paid big money to hate their own bike. The Lowrider S costs more than most people's annual salaries and delivers performance that would embarrass a well-maintained lawnmower that's been properly serviced and treated with respect. This high-performance cruiser promises power, but delivers disappointment wrapped in expensive chrome, like receiving a beautifully wrapped gift that contains nothing but your own shattered dreams and a bill for the wrapping paper. You'll spend more time making payments than actually riding, and when you do ride, you'll discover that paying extra for performance doesn't automatically mean you'll get any, much like paying extra for first-class airline seats doesn't guarantee the plane will actually fly. The Lowrider S is perfect for people who have more money than mechanical knowledge and enjoy the thrill of explaining to their friends why their expensive motorcycle performs worse than bikes costing half the price while requiring twice the maintenance and 3 times the patience. Every conversation becomes an exercise in creative justification and financial regret, like trying to explain to your spouse why you needed to spend the kids' college fund on something that doesn't actually work properly and makes you question your life choices every time you look at it. The bike's high-performance promises apparently refer to its high performance in the areas of disappointing owners, emptying bank accounts, and creating regret so profound it can be seen from space. You'll discover that the S in Lowrider S stands for sucker, as in what you are for buying this overpriced monument to marketing over engineering, style over substance, and profit margins over customer satisfaction. If you thought overpricing would make fans hate Harley, number 4 will show you what aesthetic rage looks like. This design disaster is so ugly, it's making people ashamed to admit they ever liked Harleys. The Fat Boy manages to take an iconic design and somehow make it look like it was styled by a committee of people who'd only heard motorcycles described through interpretive dance, performed by someone having a nervous breakdown. This bike costs more than a decent car and delivers styling that would make industrial designers weep with professional embarrassment and possibly seek career counseling to deal with the trauma of witnessing such spectacular design failure. You'll pay premium prices for the privilege of owning something that looks like it escaped from a dystopian future where motorcycles are designed by artificial intelligence that's having a nervous breakdown and has been fed nothing but bad design examples and expired energy drinks. Fat Boy is ideal for riders who think the original was too attractive and functional, preferring instead to own something that serves as a rolling advertisement for questionable design decisions and the triumph of marketing over common sense, basic aesthetics, and human decency. Every ride becomes a public demonstration of poor judgment that makes people question not only your taste in motorcycles, but your ability to make rational decisions about anything more complex than choosing breakfast cereal. The bike's styling seems inspired by what would happen if you took everything good about the original Fat Boy and replaced it with design elements chosen by throwing darts at a board while blindfolded and slightly intoxicated. You'll discover that paying premium prices for iconic styling doesn't guarantee you'll get either premium quality or iconic looks, just premium regret and iconic disappointment that will haunt your dreams and empty your wallet. Number 4 was supposed to be untouchable, but Harley messed it up so badly, even the fans are furious. And number 3, it proves these bikes are now priced so insanely high that even wealthy riders are starting to revolt. The Street Glide Ultra, which costs more than most people's houses and delivers value that would make luxury car dealers blush with shame and possibly seek therapy to deal with the guilt of witnessing such spectacular price gouging. This touring behemoth promises premium features, but delivers overpriced mediocrity with a price tag that requires its own financing plan and possibly a second mortgage, a third job, and the sacrifice of your firstborn child to the gods of motorcycle financing. You'll spend more time explaining to your spouse why you needed to spend supercar money on a motorcycle than actually touring. And every ride becomes a reminder of your spectacular financial decision-making skills. Street Glide Ultra is perfect for people who think regular motorcycles are too affordable and enjoy the challenge of justifying premium prices for features that should be standard, like trying to explain why you paid extra for air in your tires or gravity to keep you on the ground. Every conversation becomes an exercise in creative accounting and financial gymnastics that would impress Olympic mathematicians and possibly qualify you for a career in political economics or creative writing. The bike's Ultra designation apparently refers to its ultra-high price, ultra-low value, and ultra-disappointing performance that makes you question not only your purchasing decisions, but your fundamental understanding of mathematics, economics, and the basic concept of getting what you pay for. You'll discover that touring on the Street Glide Ultra means touring the inside of motorcycle shops, touring your financial advisor's office, and touring the depths of buyer's remorse so profound it has its own zip code. If you thought house-level pricing would make people hate Harley, number 2 will show you what brand betrayal really looks like. If you missed this, you're sleeping on the most heartbreaking betrayal in motorcycle history. The Sportster S, which represents everything wrong with modern motorcycle design, wrapped in a package that costs more than your first car and delivers less satisfaction than a root canal performed by a drunk dentist who's never seen teeth before and learned dentistry from watching YouTube videos. This bike promises modern performance, but delivers a riding experience that makes you question every life choice that led to this moment of profound regret, like a philosophical crisis on 2 wheels that costs more than most people's annual income. You'll pay premium prices for the privilege of owning something that looks like a Harley, but sounds like a sewing machine having an existential crisis, mixed with the gentle hum of a microwave that's given up on life and is just going through the motions. Every real motorcyclist will look at you with the kind of pity usually reserved for people who've made spectacularly poor life choices and then posted about them on social media for the world to see and judge. The Sportster S is ideal for riders who think traditional Harleys make too much sense and enjoy the challenge of explaining why their expensive motorcycle lacks everything that makes Harleys special, like trying to explain why you bought a hamburger that contains no meat, no bun, and no flavor, but costs twice as much as a real hamburger. Every conversation becomes an exercise in creative rationalization and public humiliation that would make politicians blush with embarrassment. The bike's modern design philosophy apparently extends to modernizing away everything that made Sportsters desirable, creating a motorcycle that's sporty in name only and delivers the kind of sport that makes you feel like you're competing in the Olympics of disappointment. You'll discover that paying Harley prices for non-Harley characters is like paying premium prices for a counterfeit product that doesn't even try to be convincing. And finally, at number 1, the bike that's made Harley the most hated motorcycle company in America, And the fan revolt is already spreading worldwide. The Nightster, a bike so fundamentally wrong that it makes everything else look like brilliant engineering decisions made by geniuses who understand both motorcycles and basic human psychology. This liquid-cooled abomination costs more than a decent used car and delivers all the Harley character of a kitchen appliance that occasionally makes motorcycle noises while questioning its own existence. You'll pay premium prices for something that sounds like a vacuum cleaner, having a midlife crisis while looking like it was designed by people who'd only heard Harleys described by someone working from crayon instructions. The Nightster represents the complete abandonment of everything that made Harley-Davidson special, wrapped in a package that costs enough to make your financial advisor consider early retirement and possibly seek witness protection from your purchasing decisions. The Revolution Max engine produces all the authentic Harley rumble of a dishwasher filled with marbles and pushed down stairs by someone who's never heard of physics. You'll spend more time explaining to confused onlookers why your Harley sounds like a broken appliance than actually enjoying the ride, while every passing Honda Civic produces more soul-stirring exhaust notes than your expensive mistake on two wheels. The heat management system seems designed by someone whose understanding of thermodynamics came from sticking their hand in a toaster, creating a riding experience that makes you feel like you're straddling a mobile sauna designed by sadists with engineering degrees. The liquid cooling doesn't prevent it from turning your legs into well-done steaks, making every ride a culinary adventure in human barbecue that would impress cannibals and horrify normal people. The ergonomics appear designed for circus contortionists who've been professionally stretched by medieval torture experts, creating a riding position so uncomfortable it makes sitting on a cactus seem like a luxury spa treatment. The handlebars are positioned like they were installed by someone who thought human arms were optional equipment, while foot pegs seem located assuming riders have flamingo legs genetically modified by mad scientists. The suspension feels calibrated by someone whose only comfort experience came from sleeping on nail beds while being attacked by angry porcupines, delivering ride quality that makes medieval torture devices seem ergonomically advanced. Every pothole becomes a personal assault on your spine. Every bump tests your commitment to motorcycle ownership, and every mile reminds you that comfort is apparently a luxury Harley-Davidson believes you don't deserve. The Nightster represents everything wrong with modern motorcycle manufacturing. The triumph of cost-cutting over quality, marketing over engineering, and corporate profits over customer satisfaction. It's a rolling monument proving that brand loyalty can be exploited indefinitely, that customers will buy anything with the right logo, and that tradition can be abandoned without consequences as long as marketing departments spin it properly. Every aspect feels designed by committees who've never ridden motorcycles, don't understand what makes Harley special, and think customer satisfaction is just suggestion rather than requirement. The bike manages to fail at being a proper Harley while also failing at being a good motorcycle, creating a perfect storm of disappointment affecting multiple failure categories simultaneously. The Nightster's legacy will be as a cautionary tale about what happens when manufacturers forget why people buy their products, ignore what makes their brand special, and assume customer loyalty is infinite and unconditional. A $15,000 lesson in alienating core customers while failing to attract new ones who actually understand what they're buying. Don't buy these Harley disasters until you see what's next. Click the video on your screen now to discover motorcycles that actually deliver what Harley promises.